So let's just take ourselves into a comfortable seat, and you can sit cross-legged. You could sit with the soles of the feet together, or you can sit with the legs out in front. And remember that you can always sit on a bolster, a block, or with your back being supported. Remember, we use those props to support ourselves and our body and to fill the gap between us and the earth, or us and space. And let's take our Hakini mudra. So just gently resting the fingers and the thumb together. And then just drop the shoulder blades, drop the shoulders away. Find that length down the neck, open across the chest, and relax the elbows down into the lap. So those fingers aren't pressing together so that we're not getting white fingertips. They are connected, and this brings, focus and concentration. And you may have seen newsreaders or presenters often bring their hands together in this point. So it just alerts us to a little bit more of a connection. So maybe choosing to close the eyes or taking a soft gaze. And take some steady breaths, breathing in and out of the nostrils. Allow the inhale breath to travel around each and every part of your body. And allow the exhale breath to release, relax, let go of tightness and tension. Maybe resting the tongue just on the roof of the mouth. The tip of the tongue might come behind the back of the teeth. And notice how the breath may have changed if you lift the tongue up to the top roof of your mouth. Allow the teeth and the jaw to be relaxed. And taking a moment to just check in with yourself, check in with you. Ask yourself, how are you today? We often ask that question of others, but we sometimes forget to ask ourselves. As we come into the month of June, we work with our Bhakti and our Raja Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is one of the 5 paths: love and devotion. And Raja is the collective of 8 different branches of yoga. Raja meaning royal, and as we've just celebrated the Queen's Jubilee, 70 years. And we take a look at some royal poses, the king and the queen of asana within our yoga postures. So take a moment now to find your own love and devotion to practice today. Really devote yourself to each and every posture as you enter it. Find a nice steady and slow breath to find stillness of mind and body. Slowly taking a deep breath in and a steady breath out through the mouth. Preparing to get our bodies moving, lifting the arms, bringing that Hakini mudra in front of the heart space. Feel the spaciousness within the palms of your hands, almost like a little mini universe. And then pointing the fingers up towards the sky, past that Hakini mudra, in front of the throat, the lips, the face, the third eye. It passes by the crown and reaches up high above you. Maybe tilting the head as if you're looking up towards the sunlight and underneath the mudra. Feel an invisible thread coming down from the thumbs, down to the third eye, the area between the eyebrows. And gently breathe in, reach the fingers higher as you stretch the spine and let the arms open and allow the arms to float out to shoulder height here. Reach the fingertips away, palms face up. Feel open across the collarbone and the chest. And then palms face down and almost press the air with the palms of the hands down towards the earth. Take the fingertips back behind you and open up the chest, lifting through the lower back, and lift the gaze once more if it feels comfortable for the neck. Breathe in and out a couple of times here. Noticing how the spine, the chest and the torso feel, and then gently bring yourself back into center. Let's take a forward fold, but here we're going to scoop the spine. So we take that Hakini mudra in front of us and we scoop the belly up and we round the back. So the Hakini mudra reaches away, crown of the head reaches towards the thumbs, and imagine someone is pulling you by the waist back behind you. So you're really opening up the back body here. Beautiful. Really, really nice. Nice deep breaths in and out. Relax the shoulders, relax the shoulder blades, and then gently release the hands and start to straighten up the spine as you lift the knees together and just give yourselves a big hug over the thighs, relaxing the head between the knees. Again, it's always important to find love for your practice, and if things become a challenge or are uncomfortable or discomfort for you, we never want to come to a place of pain. So always finding modifications that work for you. Nice and gently release, and let's take ourselves onto our back. And getting a bolster ready here for you for our first posture. Just gently roll down, draw the knees in towards the chest and start to roll out a little bit through the spine. Really spread the shoulder blades underneath you. Spread the waist, spread the lower back. You can always take hold of the knees, or you can place the hands underneath the calves. Feel the spine start to lengthen, tailbone reaches downwards, and the crown of the head reaches away to the top of your mat. So finding that bolster with the feet, place the feet just on top of the bolster. Give them a little nestle in so that you can dig the heels Press the soles of the feet there and take the arms out to the side of you, palms face up, and just take a look to the left. See if the arm is in line with your shoulder or if you've taken a little bit too high. And take the head, look to the right, do the same. Move the hand if you need to. Bring the head back into center. Lengthen through the neck. Relax through the facial expression. Press the feet into the bolster. Press away from the mat and gently lift the hips. Send the knees forward as you press into the backs of your hands. We're coming into just a little bridge here. So feel the length from the knees all the way down to the shoulders. Few breaths. Press the hips a little more, glutes engage, and gently roll down, shoulders, upper, middle, lower, back, come to the mat and the pelvis. This time we lift the thighs up and bring the bolster underneath our pelvis. So make sure again you're comfortable, you're nestling the spine into that bolster. If you haven't got a bolster, you can always use a pillow or a block. Soles of the feet nicely resting on the mat. Relax through the toes. And the arms can come down by the side of the body this time, palms face up. We're going to come into what would be our queen of asana, which is our shoulder stand. So we're going to draw the right knee in, draw the left knee in, and if this works for you, you can stay here, or you can extend the feet, extending the legs up towards the sky. Take a gaze up towards the toes and beyond, and then try to think of the legs being nice and heavy, and relax the hips into that bolster, relax the belly, relax the lower back. We're here for a couple of minutes. Find stillness within the posture. Each exhale breath drops the hips even further into your prop, keeping the legs away from the mat, lengthening through the neck, relaxing through the shoulder blades. Remembering that slow and steady breath, maybe the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Nice and gently release the heels down towards the buttocks and gently squeeze the thighs in towards the chest. Hips are going to lift up and the spine will scoop itself into that space between the bolster and the mat. And then release the feet all the way to the mat. And just relax here for a second as we come out of that supported shoulder stand, the queen of asana. Press through the feet, lift the hips so that you can roll the bolster away from underneath you and roll down through the spine. And then take the feet, keep rolling the bolster all the way down towards the end of your mat so that you have enough space to come into Shavasana. Lying down, arms out to the side, feet at the corners of your mat. Exhaling, relaxing through the spine, just noticing how you feel after that inversion. And keeping the left leg in line with the hip, so bringing the left foot in line with the hip, right knee comes in towards the chest. Lift the body up away from the mat here so that you can scoop up the belly or scoop down the belly and press the lower back into the mat. So drawing the thigh in towards the chest, relaxing that top leg, and then release the body back down to the mat. Neck is long, facial expression relaxed. Keep that knee hugging in towards the chest. You can always use a strap here. And relax the elbows. We're going to take it over to the side. So just rolling onto the left hip. Maybe bending the underneath knee. You can always place it on a bolster if it doesn't meet the mat, or a block. Keeping that right hand onto the hip if you wish to. Reclined twist here, or you can open that right arm out to the side. Again, take a quick look, if the neck allows, to see if that right thumb is in line with your shoulder. And maybe the left hand holds onto that top knee, drawing it downwards. Try to relax through the right hip, right buttock, right side of the spine. Relaxing the stomach, the intestines, the organs. And take notice if there is any part of your body that is under stress. Any part that is tense or tight. And breathe into that area. Allow the exhale to release that tightness and tension for you. Bringing the right arm back into the center. We're going to slide onto our bellies from here, so you may turn around and face the opposite way. Just coming into a half frog position, so wiggle yourself onto your mat. And that right leg comes out to the side. Again, thinking about that 90-degree angle into the hip, 90-degree into the bend of the knee, and the 90-degree bend into the ankle. So relax the body down. Hands might come underneath the forehead. Let the belly relax, let the hips soften. As we come from a reclined position into a prone position, allow everything to sink into the mat from the front body. Steady and slow breaths. If you're comfortable and happy to stay here, that's all good. You can do, or you can intensify the challenge here by coming into a Sphinx modification. So bringing the elbows and the forearms up in front of you. Dropping both hips downwards towards the mat. Try not to let the neck sink between the shoulders here. Keep pressing away from the mat, and the forearms open across the chest, almost send the chest forward. And you can always stay low in that half frog if you wish. Continue to relax into that right hip. And with our Raja theme, that royal theme, remembering that the sphinxes were there to protect the pyramids and the pharaohs who were encased in their final resting place. So feel that this is a very devoted posture. Those sphinx were devoted to the pharaohs. And if you chose that Sphinx option, release the elbows as you roll down through the rib cage first, bringing the hands back underneath the forehead, and then gently release that right leg, coming back to the mat. Relax the entire body and sway out into the hips. Just notice the response here. Let's come into a seal pose for 1 minute. Fingertips come to the outer edges of your mat, and you can start on the fingertips and then you can always drop to the palms, keeping the hips grounded, pressing into the tops of the feet. Open the chest and bring yourself up into seal. Again, try not to drop the neck into the shoulder sockets. Keep pressing away, opening up through the chest, the collarbone. Good. Take the hands a little wider of your mat. Not here for long. And remember to find that love and devotion to each and every posture. Doing great. And gently roll down, belly, rib cage. And just bring the hands back behind you this time by the hips, palms face up, turn onto the cheek. We're going to turn back onto our backs, so bringing yourself back around. And take a Shavasana moment once more. So feet go to the bottom corners of your mat, arms out to the side. And relax your back body. Let it melt into the mat, almost like to sand. This time we bring the right leg in a little bit in line with the hip, and then draw the left knee in towards the chest. Lift the shoulders, the head away from the mat as you nestle the belly into the spine and nestle the spine into the mat. Nice deep exhale as you roll back, resting the back of the head down. Feel the facial expression relax. Relax the elbows. There's no tension here. The weight of your hands draws the shin towards the thigh and the thigh towards the chest. We're going to roll onto the right hip this time and take that left leg over and across. Again, using block or bolster to support if that knee doesn't meet the mat. Hooking that toe maybe behind the right knee. And again, reaching out that left arm to the side. Take a look to see if the thumb is in line with the shoulder. Maybe the head stays there, or you can bring the head back into center. That top right hand is weight enough to draw the knee down. Try to relax through the left side of your body here. Glute, hip, lower back. All the kidneys, livers. Well, kidneys, liver, singular. Intestines, small and large. Stomach. Reminding yourself to slow down. Slow down the mind, slow down the breath. And we're going to take our time to roll over onto our bellies. And again, you may face the other way on your mat, and that's okay. But bring yourself back into the center of your mat. And that left leg stays in the half frog. So flexion into the left ankle, bend at the left knee. And relax the head down for a moment onto the backs of the hands as you just settle into half frog. Allowing to relax the front part of the body here, chest, shoulders, belly, thighs, knees, tops of the feet. And choosing that option if you took it on the opposite side, that Sphinx variation with the half frog, bringing the arms out in front of you. Elbows might be underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders open so they're not hunching forward but lifting up. And again, that chest emanates your love and devotion for this Sphinx pose. Dropping through the left hip, relaxing into the left glute. Notice these subtle differences when we change sides. Notice if you are balanced on the right and the left. There's so much that you can think of in a posture. Drawing into the stillness, experiencing each and every sensation. And if you took that Sphinx option, let's start to come down from there first. Opening the elbows, rolling down through the belly, the rib cage, and the chest comes down, head comes to the back of the hands, and then you can gradually slide that left leg back into the mat. Bring the big toes to touch. Allow the ankles to fall out to the sides and just roll and sway the hips and pelvis as you recover from the pose. Let's take the feet a little bit wider. Tops of the feet press into the mat. Seal pose once more for 1 minute. Hands can come excuse me, a little bit wider of your mat, either on the fingertips or the palms. Press through the palms, roll the shoulders up and open. Drop the hips and open the chest. Looking forward. And just visualize those beautiful seals on the ice. Feel the stretch through the front body, the psoas, the abdomen, coming all the way from the hip flexors You never have to come too high in these poses. They are back extensions after all. You can only go as high as your spine allows. Slowly bend the elbows and roll the body down. Take an extra long time to come down. Turn to the opposite cheek this time. Hands come back behind you, palms face up, and just allow recovery. Slowly bring the head center, hands come back underneath the shoulders and press yourself back. And whichever way you're facing here, if you wish to, you can turn yourself around into a tabletop position this time. And just do a few rounds of cat and cows just to mobilize the spine. So we've already started with some back extensions and some twists into the spine. And now we're going to come into some flexions of the spine. So let's take our child's pose. And you can always use a bolster here to lie over in the child's pose. Or you might wish to place a mat underneath the back of the calves. Or you don't have to use that bolster at all. Arms might come out in front of you. Knees might be a little bit wide. Relax the belly, relax the chest. And bring the head down to the mat or onto a block. We're here for a couple of minutes. So really find comfort in this child's pose. Again, that love and devotion towards your postures today. It's always something quite humbling when we come into these child's poses of reverence. And reverence again to your divine. The devotion of Bhakti Yoga to the divine. Allow the breath to open and expand the spine, creating even more space. Each and every vertebra breathes with you as you release further to the mat. And gently walk the hands back towards the body. Start to roll up through the spine. Take time. Chin stays down towards the chest until the last moment. The spine remains straight. Knees come together. Come to a kneeling pose if that's comfortable, or seated. Hands, palms face up, resting on the knees, and the crown of the head is rising up towards the sky. Feel the spine here, nice and long. So we've touched upon the Queen of Asana, which is our shoulder stand. So now we'll touch upon the King of Asana, which would be a headstand. But instead of doing a headstand, we're going to take a rabbit pose. So maybe using a block for your rabbit today. And the block comes down just a little way away from the knees. Maybe widen the knees to hip width. And the head comes down onto the block. And the hands might come back to the heels or down towards the side of your shins. Dad, I'm probably going to say to you to keep quite flat here, considering your eye as well. So relaxing the head down, and then start to lift the hips up towards the knees, so bringing the hips in line with the knees, curling through the spine, resting on top of the crown. We're here for just 1 minute. It is an inversion, so if you do feel dizzy, always come out. Keep scooping up the belly, rounding through the back. Headstands are wonderful to bring a blood flow to the brain. But we do need to be careful of our own ranges in our practice if inversions are not for us. Slowly, slowly, slowly drop the hips back towards the heels, return to that child's pose and just sway out. Maybe rest the head back onto the block here. Notice the neck soften. And gently roll up through the spine. Take your time. Whew, how are we doing? Doing great. Nice. Let's come into a nice little dragon lunge. So you can use the blocks out in front of you. You can always use that bolster underneath the back left thigh, bringing the right foot on the outside of your right block, dropping the hips forward, opening up through the chest, and dropping the shoulders, keeping a long spine here. We're not arching the spine too much in any way. We're drawing the belly back. We're stretching through that thigh and that hip flexor, crown of the head. Remember, I keep bringing the crown in, reaching up towards the sky. And if you don't need those blocks and you can come down onto the palms, you can do that as well. Again, keep the shoulders drawing back. Crown of the head reaches forward. The foot here is facing forward rather than winging that dragon out to the side. So try to keep the big toe and the whole of the foot pressing into the mat. Nice. That's it. Yeah, perfect. And from here, if you wish to, you can just draw the hip back, and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So you can either come into a prone pigeon by bringing the right foot across to the left wrist and then dropping that right knee down to the side, or you can come to a seated pigeon. So if you're taking that pigeon in prone, that's okay, and if you're coming to a seated pigeon, then you can bring the right foot across the right thigh. Hands might come back behind you. They kind of work the same thing, which is our outer hip, our inner groin, and our glutes. But you've got to find what works for you, whether that's that pigeon pose here. You can always rest that right buttock on a block or a bolster, and then coming down, dropping through both hips. That's it. Good. Each breath out drops you even further towards the mat. It's almost like gravity is just relaxing you into this pigeon pose, or some people call swan in yin. I can actually hear the pigeons outside as well. Starting to walk the fingers back. We're going to come into that back extension once more, so be careful of your own spine here. If you do suffer with any back injuries, keep nice and long through the spine. Don't come up too high. And if you wish to, just for 1 minute to close the posture off, you can stay here, or you can come into king pigeon, which is lifting up the back foot, drawing the heel in towards the buttock, and finding a balance. Of course, you don't have to do this. You can always just stay with the leg down. It's deep work into that thigh, isn't it? Gently release the hand, release the foot, and tuck the back toe as you start to bring that right leg back behind you, and just sway out. Circle a few times. We've obviously got that on the left. So if you come into dragon first, and then you can choose your pigeon option. So using those blocks, left foot comes on the outside of that left block. You can use a bolster underneath the right thigh, sinking the hips once more, dropping the shoulders away from the ears and keeping that spine nice and long. Again, keep that big toe of the left foot grounding you. We're not opening up into that winged dragon today. Notice those differences as we transition from right to left. Draw the belly back. Keep the spine long. Crown of your head reaches away. If you feel comfortable, you can always take those blocks to one side and come down onto the fingertips or the palms. Try to connect that left elbow into the calf, the upper arm into the knee. So you really feel that connection there. Releasing as much as you can through the right hip, right leg and thigh. Left glute, left buttock. Letting gravity drop you deeper towards the mat. Slowly press yourself back, bending into that back right knee and straightening up through the left. Heel toe the foot across, or you come into that seated pigeon. So then opening the knee gradually out to the side and choosing to use props as you need to, where they need to go. I'm going to place a prop underneath my left buttock. And you can relax down over that left thigh or just come into that seated pigeon with the left foot coming across the right thigh. Hands are back behind you. Good. If that one's a problem or a challenge for you for knee injuries, you can always take this softer alternative. That's it, Dad. Bend your right leg. That's it. Perfect. Good. Always find an alternative that works for you. Just a few more breaths here. Keep remembering to release on each exhale, even further down towards the mat, letting both buttocks relax, letting hips feel really heavy. So you want to think about that right hip flexor coming towards the right heel if you're in the prone position. And you want to think about that right knee coming in towards the chest if you're in seated. Slowly walk the hands back towards you, staying in the seated option if you wish, and choosing to take that king pigeon, reaching the right arm back to take hold of the right foot, keeping the chest nice and open. Remember, pigeons, they puff their chest open. King pigeon here. Closing off our royal theme today. Dropping hips down further to the mat, lengthening that knee back behind you. Beautiful, really lovely pen. And letting that foot gently relax to the mat, tucking the back toe, lifting up and just pressing back to tabletop to sway it all out. Circle a few times through the hips. Allow the body to respond. Those are our peak postures today. So our dragon going into our pigeon. And we're going to close on a shoulder opener, which is eagle arms. So you can stay kneeling if that's comfortable for you. Arms come out to the side. And you're going to cross over the left arm on top. And then fold the arms up. Maybe the backs of the hands just come to here. Maybe you can take that double bind here. And if that's not working for you, you can just bring the palms and the elbows together. What we want to see here is the elbow lifting, fingers reaching up, shoulders drawing down. Spine is long. Maybe close the eyes here and just focus at the back of the wrists. Coming from that focus and concentration from the third eye. Love and devotion to practice. You can always have the legs out in front of you if kneeling's not comfortable, or sit in butterfly. Just a few more breaths. Keep lifting the fingers, lifting the elbows, drawing the shoulder blades and the shoulders down. Slowly release. Ooh, crack. Arms go out to the side. Just gently circle through the shoulders. Good. And then opposite arm crosses over. Do the fold and then maybe take that double bind with the hands around the palms, or again, you can take this option. Keep lifting the elbows up. Fingertips reach up. Lengthen the spine. Remembering to not let yourself falter or relax too much here. We want energy in this eagle arms. Otherwise, the eagle would drop right out of the sky. Slowly release the hands, unravel the arms. Woo! And circle. Might have felt that across the top of the upper arm, top of the shoulders. Give them a little massage. That was our last one. Give yourself some love. Well done. And let's come down onto our backs. You can use any of those props. So I'm going to take a block underneath the head. Coming into Shavasana, maybe a bolster comes under the knees, or another blanket or yoga mat. Make yourself warm, take a drink. If you feel that your body kind of needs to do something at this point before you come into your relaxation, go ahead and do that. You are always your best guide. Well done. So maybe some challenges there for you. Maybe some familiarity, maybe some postures we haven't visited for a long time. And as you now take your final posture in Shavasana, allow the breath to slow down. Inhales and exhales of equal length. The inhale travels to the fingertips, to the toes, to the crown of your head. Try to remain still. No fidgeting, no moving. The exhale allows you to deepen the relaxation process. And keeping the mind clear from all distractive thoughts. It's always important to remember to be gentle with yourself. Taking this time to notice your body's cues, listening to your intuition as you now slow down. There is no need to allow the mind to continue to produce its thoughts here. When we get wrapped up in this mindset, we tend to ignore the subtle signs our bodies send out as messages to us. Take time to stop and listen to your intuitive cues. Learn the messages so that when they present themselves, you will recognize them and heed to your needs. With gentleness, great healing can happen. And I'll leave you for a couple of minutes of silence. I'll bring you back around to close our practice together. Taking a few deeper breaths. Bringing awareness back into your surroundings, onto your mat, and into the body by bringing some gentle movement. Hands, feet. Maybe the head rolls from side to side. And take time to do what your body is sending those messages to tell you to do before you get up to a comfortable seat. Let's return to our Hakini Mudra once more. Fingers and thumb connect, and we draw that into the heart space this time. And just drop the head nice and lightly in reverence and humbleness to your own practice today. Remembering that Bhakti Yoga is a sign of love and devotion, and whether that devotion be to a divine, to a faith, or to your yoga practice, it is your bhakti, it is your devotion. Give yourself a big thank you for showing up. Thanks to your body, your breath, and your focus to remain still in these postures of yin. And I thank you all. Namaste.